We're here in Florence talking about the timeless values of scouting. Stay tuned to Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're in Florence, South Carolina, at the Service Center for the PD Area Council of the Boy Scouts. We're focused on its executive board members and many of the activities going on within the council. And we're visiting with one of its board members, Dr. James Dawson, the president of Coker College. Good morning, Dr. Dawson. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Good morning, Greg. Good to be here.
Incredible opportunity to highlight all week so many of the board members and so many of the activities going on within the council, to kick off the week with another Hartsville area guy, Ed Salibi, and to end the week with you and Jim Head. It's a great opportunity, so it's truly been a treat. And I'm sitting here thinking you could be called President Dawson, Dr. Dawson, obviously Jim Dawson. Is there any preference there for viewers?
Oh, for viewers, I would appreciate Jim.
Great.
I want to be a part of the community and a part of this area, and I think it's just easier. Now, there are ceremonial occasions on our campus when doctor and president are appropriate.
Right.
But in general, I want to be a member of the community and recognized as a person who is involved.
Fantastic. Well, we'll call you Jim today then.
Good.
Let's talk real quick about Coker College. When did you assume the helm of the college?
I arrived at Coker in July, the 1st of July, and have enjoyed my honeymoon period now. The first 6 or 7 months are always a good period of time to get to know people and know more about the institution.
Mm-hmm. What's been your first impression of Hartsville, Jim?
Hartsville is a wonderful, small community with some unique features. Obviously, the home of a Fortune 500 company, Sunoco, and a wonderful private institution, Coker College. Mm-hmm. And that makes it somewhat unique in terms of small southern communities. Mm-hmm. I came from a similar community, small town with a college, and interestingly enough, the major business in the area was a paper mill. So I know about these regions and the kinds of communities that become special.
Where was that, Jim?
That was in Athens, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was going to ask what position you were in prior to your move to Coker College. Were you in a similar, obviously you were in a college, were you a college president?
Yes, I was the president of Tennessee Wesleyan College in Athens.
How exciting. What's that like being a president of a college, Jim? That must be so exciting to think about all the students. I remember being in school and we would virtually put the presidents on a pedestal. Is that difficult at times, knowing that you're recognized throughout campus? There's not a place you can go. I mean, there's some popular professors oftentimes, but the teachers are, I mean, the president itself, it's a big deal.
It's exciting. It's great fun. I wake up every morning excited about what I do. But there's no question, you cannot hide. Right. You live in a glass house and people see what you do. You cannot go to the store with blue jeans and a sweatshirt and not expect to be seen. Mm-hmm. So there is a presence that you must be aware of. But it's enjoyable, and fortunately, people do respect your privacy, and we have enjoyed the opportunity to move into a home and be on campus and yet have some private time in that home.
Mm-hmm. And you said we, Jim. Do you have family here in the area?
My wife and I moved from Athens, and the only family we brought with us was a cat. The cat doesn't like me, so it's not a close relationship. Uh-huh. We have 2 children, a son who lives in Indiana and a daughter living in Florida.
Mm. Jim, what do you think attracted you and your wife to Coker College?
Well, there were a number of factors, and as you look at opportunities in your career, you look for things that will enhance the skills and talents that you bring to a situation. Mm-hmm. And my background, I think, fit the presidency at Coker College very well, and I hope that I have a long and productive career there. Mm-hmm. We enjoyed the community, as I said, and ultimately when you make decisions like that, there has to be a feeling that is right. And when we visited Coker College in Hartsville, it felt right. And so that was important to us.
Absolutely. And for a lot of our viewers in southeastern North Carolina or along the Grand Strand may not be familiar either with Coker College or even Hartsville. Can you give the viewers a sense of the college, if kind of give them on a walk-in tour of the college maybe for a minute to give them a feel of what it's like, A, there in Hartsville, but B, in particular, on campus, how you all are laid out?
Coker College is fortunate in that it's located in the heart of Hartsville. It's in the central part of the community. The campus is a lovely residential campus, a liberal arts institution with a total enrollment of just over 1,100, although only about half of those students reside on our campus as the traditional residential population. The school has a wonderful collection of buildings that have remained true to an architectural style, so the campus is very uniform and truly a lovely facility. And we have enjoyed our relationship with the Coker family, and the family has shared with us some of the wonderful homes they've lived in during their lifetime. So a portion of our campus is comprised of homes that were once part of the Coker family. In fact, the home I live in is one such home. And so we have this wonderful combination of beautiful old estate homes and a lovely campus that houses our academic programs.
That's fantastic. We actually visited Hartsville and taped and maybe you could talk real quick about the relationship that you all share with the South Carolina Governor's School for Science and Math.
Yes. We have enjoyed a great relationship with the Governor's School. They are, of course, building a new facility and will be moving in August into their grand new quarters. And this will provide for us an opportunity to expand our enrollment because they will vacate both residence facilities and classroom facilities. We look forward to the opportunity to grow now by nearly 150 students in the course of the next few years as a result of their moving from our campus to an adjacent facility near the campus and a place that will be truly a showplace for their classrooms and places for their students to live.
Absolutely. High school excellence there. Well, it was wonderful visiting them there, and of course that day we visited with Dr. Carter, Ron Carter, the provost, which was very exciting, and one of your honorary degree recipients, Luns Richardson, Dr. Luns Richardson from Morris College, came up to talk a lot about Morris and his activities, but also the great honor that you all bestowed on him with that honorary degree. How about your involvement with the Pete Area Council of the Boy Scouts? You are a new executive board member. You came on when?
I came on shortly after I arrived in the community. I have to give Jim Head credit. He was one of the first on my doorstep and said, we would like for you to be a part of the Boy Scout effort here. And I was delighted to join. I have a great respect for the work of the Boy Scouts. Having been involved in higher education for most of my career, the one thing I know is that we are the recipients of a foundation that's built early in a student's lifetime. And certainly the efforts of the Boy Scouts provide a wonderful foundation for many of the things we want to accomplish in higher education.
And Jim, were you a scout yourself growing up?
I was involved in Cub Scouts and in Boy Scouts. Have to confess that I didn't rise to the ranks that I admire in other Boy Scouts.
Right. Well, you're ahead of a lot of folks. I had no Boy Scout experience whatsoever. And it's difficult at times when you try to think through. You have folks on, whether it's Ed Salibi earlier in the week or Jim Head later this morning, talking about different ranks at different levels. And I think, what the heck is he talking about? I'm sure for a lot of viewers it's difficult. But scouting can be incredibly rewarding.
Oh, it can be. Not only rewarding, but it allows students, young people, to develop their talents, to become leaders, to exercise some of their thinking abilities and to understand what it means to have a responsibility in a community.
And in your experience as an educator, have you seen a difference that scouting can make in a young person's life as they move into college?
No question about it. I think the one thing that scouting does for so many young people is create focus in their life. It gives them a direction that many students do not have. And you see that when they come to a campus and they have had experiences. You know, there's nothing that reflects discipline more than achieving the Eagle Scout honor. And I think that is a wonderful example of what scouting can do.
In a different campus, there is a camp. that bears the same name as the college,
Yes.
which you now are at the helm. Camp Coker up in Chesterfield County. Have you visited the facilities?
I had the pleasure of being there recently, and what a grand facility for this whole area.
Mm-hmm. And the family is the same connection? Is it
Yes.
the Coker connection there?
Yes.
That is
They were a wonderful family and continue to do great things for the PD region.
Why do you think it's important? Obviously, you arrived in town in July of just last year, 8 months ago. Jim Head was quickly on your doorstep, bringing you in. Have you found some commonality in some of the folks that you speak to on a regular basis within the PD area, as well as throughout the area, throughout the region, about your involvement in trying to grow Coker College, as well as your involvement in trying to help the Boy Scouts grow? Have you found a commonality of interest there? Obviously, you can't go in and talk about the two together, or rarely would, but you're finding common souls, folks who are interested in, who support the Boy Scouts, who often turn to Coker as well on a support mechanism. Have you seen that?
Oh, no question. People who are leaders in our area have varied interests, but in general, I find that they have an interest in future generations of young people, and that's what we're involved in.
Yes. Jim, lastly, what has impressed you the most since you've arrived at Coker College about the campus and about the community which you've now joined?
What is most impressive are the people. We're about relationships at Coker College, and while we have buildings that gather us together, the proximity doesn't ensure community. What ensures community, I think, are the people. And we have an impressive group of faculty and staff who work with our students and indeed the community to make our area better.
A man who's surrounded by wonderful people. If you haven't visited Hartsville nor Coker College, you need to make that trip. You can travel there from anywhere throughout our viewing audience and visit a campus where the president wants to be known as Jim. President Jim Dawson, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're in Florence at the Service Center for the PD Area Council of the Boy Scouts. We're focused on some of the council's current activities, and we're visiting with its Scout Executive, Jim Head. Jim, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Greg.
Incredible opportunity all week to highlight so many of the vibrant new board members, some of the old board members, to kick off the week with Ed Salibi, the council president, and to wrap up the week with the Scout Executive. It's a pretty big deal to be sitting here. I'm truly honored to be sitting here in y'all's company, sitting in the Service Center's room in the B. Webb Jones. This is just a treat.
Well, Greg, it's our pleasure. And there's one of the exciting things about my job is the people that I get to associate with. And you've met a number of them. Their field of expertise in their own particular businesses, and they bring a narrow professionalism to our environment, which is critical as we try to service and meet the needs of young people.
Absolutely, Jim. It's amazing. The council is the PD Area Council. When folks think about that, and earlier in the week we had Reuben Hewitt who's the chairman of the Ataqua District, and he talked about those three counties. And then we had David Surratt and his involvement with the three counties within the Great Northern District. And when you think about four separate districts, formerly five, now four districts that are combined to really make a commitment in those communities and then 11 counties, that's a big, big deal.
You know, I think one of the misconceptions about the Boy Scouts of America is just how really our structure is such that it is a very complicated structure, and without the dedication of individuals like Reuben and Mr. Surratt, Dr. Dean down at the beach, the council couldn't function. The reason that we have 2,500 to 3,000 volunteers is each one has a vital, critical role that they play in delivering the scouting program to the youth of our area. The council covers 25% of the geographic area of the state of South Carolina. So we're covering a lot of area, a lot of geographical area, and the needs of each area really vary. And to be able to address those needs for some of the board members, to be able to touch the lives of the young people in the way that they need to, is really based upon the area that they serve. So we're really like a major corporation. The council office would really be the corporate headquarters, and we have presidents of the various corporations, which would be our districts out in the various areas that we serve. So when we come together as a board, it's a time for action to be taken, and action to be taken on specific needs regarding the specific environments faced by our volunteers in areas in which they're trying to change the lives of young people.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of those specific needs, Jim. Can we talk about some of the most pressing or urgent issues facing the new board that's recently been seated for the PD Area Council?
Yeah, I'm real excited, first of all, with the caliber of people that we have on the board this year. And as in years past, they bring a multitude of talents and expertise to our organization, which is desperately needed. Again, our corporation is $1 million functioning organization. And one of the challenges that we have is meeting the economic needs of the young people that we serve. And so raising money in this environment is an extremely difficult task right now. But I'm real excited that our friends are stepping up and people are digging deep and they're providing us support, sometimes in areas that we haven't had support before. So I'm encouraged. We live in a very perilous times. I'm not going to go through all the issues that we're all facing on a daily basis. You just turn on the tube and there's very few positive things going on. That's the reason I appreciate a show like this, because I think the Boy Scouts of America is a positive thing. It's a thing that is changing the lives of young people and servicing their families. And very few organizations can come in and say, hey, we're dedicated to the one thing that I really believe is critical in our society today, and that is creating an environment so that young people can make ethical decisions throughout their lifetime. And that's an awesome mission, an awesome task that we're taking on.
It truly is an awesome task and an awesome mission, and an incredibly, so many of the volunteers are active on a daily basis. You talk about between 2,500 and 3,000 volunteers within the PD Area Council.
Within our council, and truly, you'll go from a minimum time period of 20 hours a week to in excess of 40 hours a week. Our council president, who is an active attorney, defense attorney, but he will dedicate somewhere between 30 and 40 hours of actual man hours in helping me manage this council. He asked about some of the ideologies and things that we're trying to do and what's facing our new board. If you were to step beyond the financial issues for now, and that's very difficult to do because it's a major concern. But one of the areas that Ed Salibi was very concerned about as our council president was ensuring that we were able to reach all of the young people throughout all of our areas that we serve. And again, we're serving 25% of the council. Everybody's aware of Camp Coker. It's the heartbeat, the blood of this council. But what's exciting, and I think you'll be very excited about it, maybe we can go out and do something at this new location. Within the next 12 months, we're going to be opening up a new primitive camping area in Horry County. It's actually in North Myrtle Beach, Cherry Grove, across from Tidewater Golf Course. It's a little island sitting out there. And we're extremely excited about this because it offers opportunities that we just haven't been able to do before. Our Sea Scouting program is going to get a major boost. Kayaking in the ocean, fishing, crabbing, some things that we just have not had the facilities or capability to do are going to open up, and our whole council will benefit. And this new opportunity is more important than just the camping experience, because I think it helps unite us as a council.
That's a great point, Jim. And I know when we think about Horry County, we think about how that county's changed, where a lot of folks from Horry County are traveling to Florence to the service center here on South Court Street to do their shopping of supplies and buying equipment here and getting ready. The great thing is they're used to coming up here, heading up to Camp Coker up in Chesterfield County. They know this area well, it's great to bring them up here to the center of the entire PD area council. And of course, folks at Horry oftentimes think, we're away from the PD, we're the Grand Strand, and so now to bring the PD down to Horry County. I mean, Horry County is really a part of the PD.
It truly is. In fact, we thought about changing the name of the council, but this is a tradition that's been established since 1928. In fact, we're having our 75th year anniversary this year out at Camp Coker. We're looking for our old counselors and staff members from 1928 forward, and believe it or not, we're going to have some from the early 30s at this reunion. It's a special event that's going to come on. It's something that, again, our council president and our executive board really wanted us to celebrate, because we're talking about 75 years of service. We hope that we can expand our services. We've attempted it in the past to open up a satellite service center, and quite frankly, funding just wasn't there to support it. We lost some funding from some areas that we had traditionally counted on, and those funds were reduced for whatever reason. And we're real excited about moving forward, though. We're excited about the opportunities that we're going to be able to do in the year 2003. So it's a new year. It's an exciting year. The new campsite's exciting. I think that I'll never forget Mrs. Salibi. That's Ed Salibi's mother, when she was telling me that she's from Conway, and she pretty well gave a charge. See, actually, sometimes I think Ed's in charge, and sometimes I think his mom is. So we're real excited to talk about the new camping area. Mm-hmm. We're opening up the service center on Saturday so that we can service the whole area, and we want to make sure that people are aware of that, because, again, while we had to close one door, we've opened up another avenue to make sure we continue to service the people of the entire council.
Let's talk about Camp Coker real quick, Jim, since that is so much. I mean, the service center is very much the central focus. It is the center area of the council, and folks come here for myriad reasons, but traveling to Camp Coker, the lifeblood of the PD area council, why is Camp Coker so important to the council?
I think it's important when you talk about people whose entire lives have been changed and impacted. I talked to a gentleman, his name's Roger Skirvan, who was on our camp staff. He's now a very successful businessman in Orlando, Florida. You talk about people like Mr. Eddie Drayton, who's the camp actually changed their life. You actually spent an evening with us out there as the whole board came, and one of the exciting things about that evening and the board meeting that happened the following Saturday morning was as people remembered how that camp and the camping experience and the opportunity to provide leadership changed their lives. It impacted their lives for the whole time period, and we're so grateful for a facility like Camp Coker. We're grateful for the people who've helped us make all the improvements in it. Some of our board members, to be quite frank, were absolutely shocked at the things that have gone on in Camp Coker just in the last year. And this has been driven by our Vice President of Program, by the vision of our Council President, his desire to make sure that the facilities were up to date and would meet the needs of the young people in this new millennium. And I think that's critical, because we're not just talking about a camping experience that's a one-night thing. We're talking about something that will touch the lives of people forever. I've been talking to one of your staff members here today about his experience with Bill Gates and his experiences going through the Boy Scouts. It's something that impacts you, not for the moment. In fact, I've told you before, I'm not so sure it doesn't really kick in until you're in your 40s. That's when you understand and appreciate all the things you've learned through the scouting experience.
I've heard you say that, Jim, and as we've taped in different locations, whether back here for our kickoff week, August 28th, and we taped the week of September 2, and when we were over at the Coliseum taping for right before the big Distinguished Citizens Award dinner, and then this week, when we think about the commitment and the real excitement, we're in guys like Danny Isaac and Reuben Hewitt, guys who grew up going to Coker and now go back there either as fathers or as camp leaders. The excitement is truly, as you say, for those men who are returning back and seeing what that's doing for the youth of our community.
I had a gentleman call me from Columbia, and the session was going on, and they had walked by Howling Clements, and he had his eagle pin on, and they started talking to him about being involved in the Boy Scouting program, and Representative Clemens was talking about what was going on at Camp Coker, and about 11 o'clock the other night, I get this phone call. Turned out this gentleman was a staffer at Camp Coker, wanted to know if he could come back and visit Camp Coker, was going to bring his son, who's involved in the Columbia Scouting program, so that he could see where he went to camp and the impact that it had on his life. It's moments like that, Greg, when you hang up the phone and you say everything that we do every day, the struggle that we have for financial support, the issues that we have to deal from a corporate standpoint, such as insurance doubling and tripling on us when we're improving the camp, the impact of having people call and say, I want my child in scouting, and not having a unit or a place to put that young man in that particular area. All those things really become extremely satisfying and rewarding when you hear a story like that and you see the impact that it's had.
And that ties into our last question, Jim. What does scouting mean to Jim Head?
Scouting means an opportunity for me to serve my Lord and touch the lives of other people's hearts, and hopefully to make a difference in a time when I'm not so sure a difference hasn't been ever more needed than it is right now. So that's what scouting means to me.
We're sitting with a man who gets emotional when you ask him about the profession that he's committed much of his life to, the commission which he works for on a daily basis, what that profession means to him, how you feel about the company you work for, you're with. The way to get emotional about a company means you feel a lot for it. And the commitment that Jim Head has made to his community and to the PD Area Council and so many youth in our area is exactly what we need. Jim, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
My pleasure.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. Art lovers, take note. Next week, Carolina People will be at LHWH Advertising and PR, highlighting an imaginative art show.